Fox Business Alert, we are just getting this breaking news. The Financial Times has just dropped a report that says President Trump is ordering a specific group of chip designers to stop selling to China. The FT says the Commerce Department has told electronic design automation companies, this includes Cadence, Synopsys, and Siemens EDA, to halt shipments of their chip technology to China. Electronic design automation refers to the use of software used to design semiconductors. Cadence and Synopsys, you can see, are dropping pretty dramatically, and they've dropped just right after the news hit the tape. Synopsys down 11 1/3%, Cadence down 9 1/3%, Siemens EDA, which is an ADR, American Depository Receipt, German company, trades here, but it is that German company, is down about 2% at the moment. All right, while the president puts the brakes on chip designs to China, the afterglow continues from his recent whirlwind tour of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar earlier this month. Now, the European Union is now hoping to lock up its own deal with the UAE. The EU is in advanced talks for a first-of-its-kind free trade agreement with a Gulf country. Now, President Trump touted trillions of dollars in economic investments on his trip, and Qualcomm was just one of the U.S. business delegation that accompanied the president to lock up new deals with the Middle Eastern countries. This morning, Qualcomm President and CEO Cristiano Amon rang the opening bell at the NASDAQ to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the company. In a Fox Business exclusive, we got a chance to ask him what everyone's sudden interest in expanding Mideast business relationships really says.
Look, I'm very optimistic about that. There's a lot of opportunities in the Gulf area with the UAE, with Saudi Arabia, I'm sure with Qatar. But the reality is, all of those countries are looking to create a new economy beyond oil, and technology, it's the natural place to go. So that's why I'm excited about it, but I think speaks to the great opportunity for investment in technology we see in the Gulf.
And you are taking a bite out of those opportunities. 2 weeks ago, when the president was there visiting the UAE, you made an announcement with the UAE's largest tech and telecom company, Etisalat, and you'll be providing them 5G and AI technology. This, to me, is a very interesting deal. You've had collabs with them before, but tell me exactly when you first began this particular discussion with Etisalat.
Yeah, very good. It was a great privilege, great experience, great adventure to be there, I think, with the President Trump administration, both what happened in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In the UAE, we started this conversation, I think, probably a couple quarters ago. And what was interesting about is they see some of the things that we're doing, which is the next generation industrial is going to be transformed by AI at the edge. And they have been a very large carrier. They believe that putting 5G and AI technology together, they can transform all the industries within the region. It's a very interesting partnership that is not only providing technology, I think, for the project that we have of an industrial AI gateway for their oil company, but it's going to go to all of the other industries they have in the region. It's exciting, it's big, and we're great to be part of it.
Well, sure. It's like a threefer. The government, industrial, and enterprise spreading across the UAE. And then, of course, you did the Saudi Arabia deal with Saudi Arabia. I guess you could call it its AI startup, Humane, which just got launched, but you'll be providing the CPUs. These are the general processors that go into AI data centers. Now, NVIDIA, which reports after the bell today, NVIDIA is providing the GPUs, the graphic processing units. Yours will be compatible with them, correct?
Yeah, it's very complementary, I think, what we're doing in Saudi Arabia. It's also very exciting. I actually like the project in Saudi Arabia because the way they're thinking, the same way Qualcomm is thinking. Qualcomm is growth and the diversification, changing beyond our traditional industry of mobile to all those other industries. They're doing the same thing. And what's interesting is that partnership touches many aspects. It coincides with us announcing that we're back into the data center by providing those CPUs. We're also going to do a lot of AI at the edge. We're doing PCs with them that loaded with their developing Arabic large language model. They're going to use their AI data center to do inference as a service on those devices. And we signed up an agreement, very broad cooperation with Aramco, the world's largest oil company, using AI to change their operations. So exciting.
You just mentioned that it's almost a re-entry into making data center CPUs. Now, the last foray that Qualcomm had was with China's Gansu province back in 2017. I know that closed down pretty shortly after 2017, I think 2019. You weren't the CEO then, but you were there. What would you do differently?
The reality is we're a little bit early at that time. We're too early for that transition. At the time, what really happened was the market wanted an alternative to the incumbent. The incumbent at the time was Intel, but the software ecosystem wasn't ready. I think it was not until Amazon, when they delivered their own Graviton solutions, that they did the change of the software ecosystem to ARM. Fast forward to today, very different. The data center is growing. It's going to be a massive growth opportunity for decades. The ARM-compatible CPU becomes the growth engine for that. We have one of the best CPU teams in the world, and we proved that about what we're doing with our own custom CPUs. And the data center architecture is changing to be an AI data center. That creates an opportunity. Next natural evolution of Qualcomm diversification, and you started to see signs of that, what we're doing in Saudi Arabia, as well as the announced partnership with NVIDIA.
Your chips don't fall into the same U.S. government chip export restrictions that, say, NVIDIA's do. But that said, as you branch out and you do these deals in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, how do you keep your IP, your intellectual property, which is extremely valuable, away from, let's say, the Chinese, who tend to knock off everything?
We get paid for intellectual property. All of our Chinese customers are actually paying for the Qualcomm intellectual property.
Okay.
We provide finished products in China for phones, for PCs, for cars, and we actually creating export of U.S. technology. We're actually in the right direction of trade. So I think as we think about the future of trade, and President Trump wanted to improve the situation of trade, we want to see, countries have been interested in actually buying more of the U.S. technology.
Well, you've
the
got
second part,
is it fair to say about 46% of your fiscal 2024 revenue came from companies that are headquartered in China?
It's chips that goes into China. Some stay in China, and then some others go for companies that manufacture in China that goes to the world. And
Gotcha.
those supply chains are moving, right? But the second part of the answer, the chips that we make for data center, they are subject to the same restrictions at NVIDIA. So we operate within the same boundaries.
You and I have talked about Apple a lot, Apple transitioning from the Qualcomm modem chips to their own homegrown chips. They're still using some of yours, I do know that, but you're expanding your partnership with the Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi, and that's a big deal that was just announced recently. So can you give us a sense of how that partnership and the revenue that could come from it might blunt the sunsetting of the Apple relationship with the modem chips?
We expect Apple will continue to buy our products. We expect about 70% of the iPhones launched this year. Then it goes to about 20%. Then we don't have any agreement for us to provide modems to the iPhone in 27. We've been very transparent.
27.
Yeah, we're very transparent. It's a great customer. We're a great supplier of them. And this is the agreement we have. We have, at the same time, been growing the company in all of those new industries. But at the same time that Apple is coming off the model, Android is growing. Android is growing, and I think Xiaomi is a great example of that. We're incredibly excited about what's happening to Android. First, if you look at Google I/O announcement for the last few days, it's showing the potential of this AI transition. Samsung is doing great with the Galaxy S25, 100% Qualcomm chips. And then Xiaomi is gaining market share in China and outside China. And we just signed a multi-agreement with them. So we expect that Qualcomm will grow into all those industries. And in mobile, Android is growing. We project it's going to grow at a 5% per year all the way to 29. So we're happy.
You're happy, and Apple is probably moving on as they try and figure out their own way. I know that there was a study that Qualcomm commissioned very recently that showed that Qualcomm's modem chips were much faster, particularly in densely populated urban areas, than the Apple modem chip that they are developing. It's a little controversial because Qualcomm commissioned this study, but give me a sense of exactly what you feel is going to be your advantage in the modem chip world.
Okay, so this is nothing new. We do this every year. So as the inventor of this technology, you should expect that every year we're going to do a new modem. We're going to show how it performs. So it's nothing controversial.
That's what you guys do.
That's what we do. We do that for a living. It's the best modem in the world, and we just want consumers to know what the technology is possible, and you'll be able to find the technology in the phones that are using our modem.
Everything we've talked about is all positive. Why do you feel that Wall Street is not feeling all of that? The stock has underperformed the NASDAQ, of course, over the past year and year to date. Tell me exactly what message you want on, by the way, this massive anniversary, 40th anniversary of Qualcomm. And of course, you've been there for about 30 years of it. What do you want Wall Street and investors to understand about the company?
Yes, look, I'm frustrated with it, but we just do what we do best. We innovate, we execute, we focus on what we can control, and continue to do what we said we're going to do. Of all semi companies, we're the company that has the broadest IP portfolio. We're not like one-trick pony. We have every wireless technology from cellular to Wi-Fi to GPS to Bluetooth, and we're the #1 in each of those technologies. We have every processing technology. We have CPU, we have GPU, we have NPU for AI, we have image signal processors for computer vision. We have every video. Actually, most people don't know. The reason you stream YouTube, you stream Netflix to your phone, all Qualcomm inventions.
Fox Business. You stream Fox Business.
Fox Business. All Qualcomm inventions. And we have proven that we're a company that can learn new core competence and enter new industries. And when we enter an industry, if you actually look, we developed the leading technology platform. We have the leading technology for auto now. We have the leading technology for PC. We have the leading technology for wearable AI. We're doing that for industrial, we'll do for the data center. So if you get past this issue of the licensing disputes, Apple supplier or not Apple supplier, because we're trading at an Apple supplier multiple. If you get past that and you look what's happening with the Qualcomm, you see there's a new industry. It's a new company. It is a new growth rate. Like we're going auto like in excess of 50% year over year. Like which company's doing that in this auto business? So eventually they will see it. And in the meantime, I'm just going to concentrate of doing what we said we're going to do and do what we do best. We innovate and we execute.
From your mouth to Wall Street's ears, it's great to have you, and happy anniversary to you and the Qualcomm team.
Thank you. I love being here. It's always a pleasure talking to you.